You step out into the moonlit night above. You can see now, for this evening, most of the clouds have dissipated, and the stars are above, and the Technicolor aurora still kind of glides across the horizon in different tethers. You can see the long ley line strings, not ever present, but just you can visually see where the gossamer threads kind of slightly shift and drift in their place in the sky, all kind of convening at far distance points that you can't quite make out the distance. You can see the forest, the snow-covered forest below in the ravine and the nearby other mountains that surround you in the Alps. And as you kind of glance beyond the outskirts of the Gruffside livery and the entry point to the city, the outer walls and the towers, you can see the stone steps that kind of curl up and switch back up the side of the mountain.
Oh, that champers keeps you so warm. Okay, walking up to the...
You eventually come to an outcropping that is kind of juts out from the mountain, about 20 feet by 30 or so feet. It's simple. There is a small stone, kind of a fence that's marked to prevent anyone from tumbling off it. And in the center of it, you can see there is a small garden that grows beautifully. And while everything else around here still carries a coat of snow, no snow seems to have fallen on the greenery within this small circle. It's kind of an odd little visual here in the midst of the cold night air. The flowers still open, like the sun is fully there to receive them. And in the middle of it, you see about a 4-foot, smaller than any other statue you've seen, but a 4-foot statue of a relief of the Wildmother, kind of just standing there, her form, her arms kind of up and smiling.
All right. I'm gonna go up to it. And pull some flowers out of the dirt and put it... knock on the statue.
Okay.
Hey, bitch. I don't know how to do this. I don't even know if you're there. Could be dead. Could be talking to nothing, which I actually do a lot. Never mind. Okay, I came here to say if you're there, maybe you can talk to my friend Orym, and try to just say that we're okay, and we're alive, and hopefully we'll see you soon. I think that's it. All right, well, I'm gonna go back, unless, well, are you supposed to say anything to me? Do I do? Amen.
You stand there in the silence, looking over the kind of dark, moon-rimmed ravine, the little bit of Kath's light that kind of gleams across. All you hear is the cold wind blowing through the mountain range. Maybe that's a sign. Who knows?
I think you might be dead. I think you... All right. Well, I'm gonna go. Sorry I called you bitch. It was a term of endearment because that's what happens when I drink. I just get really, friendly. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go. Bye.
Back at it with the flowers you've left behind and just the welcoming appearance of the Wildmother's relief, and think on Orym, and then trek back down the somewhat slick and treacherous steps. You do notice at certain times of the night you catch something moving on the horizon and your nerves begin to catch in, but you see kind of a pair of glowing eyes, but they're oddly soft, not intense. And once you make connection with them, once you both acknowledge each other, there's a sense of comfort that kind of washes through you that you can't explain.
Seeing unknown eyes in the dark, and it's comforting.
Oddly, and you're trying to consolidate what that means. Is this dangerous? Should you be at the ready? And you begin to look around and you can see these little, amongst the fog that gathers and the smoke of the fire that's now down to a low ember between you and your sleeping friends, you can see little wisps that kind of drift around and move for moments. With your very specific honed vision, you see dozens of small, sprite-like spirits that just kind of mingle with the smoke and drift around.
And it's comforting.
In ways that you're uncertain. It feels unnatural that you're comforted by them.
Yep. I'm debating which magical person to wake up. I bump Prism in his ankle.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Do I see it?
It takes you a bit to focus, but eventually you can see it a little bit. These are likely all local spirits of the woods that you traverse, themselves growing more comfortable with your presence as you pass through, and just playfully sharing the space while most of you dream.
They're like...
Problem?
Sorry?
Is that a problem?
I think it might be truly the exact opposite of a problem. I think it may be like we're essentially having like a little slumber party with the local spirits. You seem like you have some sort of affinity with nature or something.
That's my mom does. Just a little.
You might be attracting them.
You see one that's kind of like drifting in the air, and it looks almost like a wisp of smoke that kind of drifts, like this gentle kind of blue-green smoke, and it kind of glides over past the sleeping Laudna, and then lifts up above, and you can see those soft pair of eyes kind of apparate towards you, and this little wisp of it in the side, this tiny little kind of oblong, dual-sided point of a spirit goes.
Does it have form, or is it more like taffy, like spirit taffy?
It's more like spirit taffy, but it has almost like a raindrop kind of small persona that comes to points in each end as it kind of just glides and drifts, and then it kind of creates a pseudopod of its energy as it waves to you and then glides off. And you see it take off, and other ones are just kind of pairing off and weaving through the branches around and playing and dancing through the smoke. And some of them are just kind of sitting on the chest of some of your companions and just watching them sleep.
Can I kind of like make a little Bigby's hand so he can kind of dance with them? Just make a little elevation so he can, if you feel called.
Lift me on a hand.
If you want to try it.
If you want.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with anything unless you're gonna
Just saying,
feed me to a demon.
It seems like they kind of want to dance with you.
Sure.
Describe what your hand looks like as it apparates.
Oh, as it apparates, unfortunately, I am from Shadowfell, so it does look like a hand from the grave.
I'm used to this by now.
But then it really dexterously glides him so that he can kind of like be amongst these little spirits.
Okay, so I'll add to that. The ride is a little strange but workable, and Orym will a little bit of a surf feel, but more the Zephyr Tom. Mm-hmm. He will, with no weapon in hand, sort of recreate similar forms and movements that he does in his sort of
That's all he knows.
practice.
As you do, kind of returning to this comfortable state and familiar, endlessly practiced forms, the glow of the firelight from beneath, you can see more of the spirits begin to pull away from the rest of the group and begin to gather, almost like a collective school of fish. But here amongst the smoke and clouds, they begin to swirl around you and this spectral dark shadow hand. As they glide up, their eyes begin to alight a little brighter, causing this almost firefly cloud-like look as they kind of spiral and curl silently around you. And it's this beautiful display soundless almost, except for the faint bit of wind that drifts through the trees as the fog begins to pour through. And it's this beautiful connection with nature, but nature in its purest form. There's something about the life and the energy here that is extremely ancient, while also innocent and playful.
I think what Orym is thinking about while he's dancing with spirits on a giant skeletal hand is how even in the most terrible of times, and these are the most terrible times right now, we still do find moments of beauty and happiness, just here and there in moments, and that you still have to appreciate them even when they're surrounded on all sides by darkness and hardship. And as he winds down, he just with a half smile to Prism says, breath before fear and anxiety.
Yeah, take a deep breath, because I bet there's more fear ahead.
Breathe it in. Love it.
I pat a large skeletal finger.
The spirits eventually disseminate amongst their evening revelry, some lingering and keeping their eyes, some kind of copying the one time you waved, as you see a few more kind of wave as they vanish off into the night. Your watch comes to a close and you return to rest, and the evening goes without issue.
What I do is plant seedling blade down into the dirt, and I will spend like a minute adorning it with flowers. And when I feel like everyone's out, I'll say, I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear any of us anymore. I hope you can. I've heard too many stories firsthand and read too many tales to discount the good that many of you have done in this world. I don't know if you have anything left in you, but I'm praying. We could really use a little help down here. I know you can too, and we'll do our best. But any miracle you can spare. I just leave it planted in the ground and go back to sleep next week.